A staple I do in all my interviews in order to start things off is to ask that you elaborate a bit about your work and this particular role for those not familiar with it.
Okie dokie. My name's Tom Clarke-Hill, and I'm a voiceover actor. But I started out as a musician. I'm still a musician. I play the double bass and the electric bass, and I've done a bit of acting as well. And I got into stand-up comedy when I was in Los Angeles and met some voiceover artists. And I decided that'd be another bow to put into my quiver, and it's worked out great.
Well, that's quite a wheelhouse you have going on there.
Yeah.
In Sniper Elite 5, you provide the voice for Karl Fairburne. Could you tell us a bit about the character and the situation he finds himself in?
Well, Karl Fairburne, I did Sniper Elite 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so each one is different stages of World War II. And I really found 5 interesting because it's getting closer to where I live. I live in England now. And I could relate to all those places in France and also, the Channel Islands and all of that stuff. And yeah, the situation he finds himself in is he gets to save the day
Again.
again, and
Uh,
talk real low. It's behind you, man. Watch out.
you,
Like that.
like, you get just the voice, just
Yeah.
it just hits my mind from playing the games. It's amazing.
That's the beauty of voiceovers because once you get the job and you get established in the job, people have that imprint in their head. It's like I did the voice of Tony the Tiger for Kellogg's Frosties for many, many years.
Oh,
And I remember after Kellogg's Frosties, they're great. And after about the second or third year, these kids came up to my car one time, and I think I did the voice. And they went, "Wow, you sound just like the guy on the TV." And I went, "Wait a second, I am the guy on the TV." So
oh,
it's I've been real blessed to be able to do that stuff.
that's incredible. There have been numerous Sniper Elite and Zombie Army spin-off entries over the years. Reflecting on the character, how do you think he has changed over time? And do you have a favorite entry in the series?
Um, I hardly even played the games when I first got it, and when lockdown came, actually my older son is really good at gaming,
Mm.
and he put up a little thing of me trying to play Sniper Elite, and I'm just getting shot left and right, man. And but during lockdown, I went through 3 just as the novice. Then I went through 4 as the novice, and then I moved them. By the time I quit playing on 4, I get strung out on it. I was like, that you get shot once and you start over again. So I have a special affinity for 4, and especially the one with the train up on the trellis there,
Oh,
that
okay.
thing, that scene, and also the Italian village. I like that too. But was that your question?
Yeah, no, basically, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, you know,
I mean, it's. I think and one thing that I didn't take advantage of too was being able to isolate each sort of area and learn how to, the one-on-one, the different waves that come at you. I get too frustrated doing that, so I would go through a campaign, and then if things got too heavy, I would retreat back into the last area, which my son said was, being a wimp.
it's
Not
a
a very
clever
good.
way to play the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
What do you feel was one of the more memorable moments for the character, in terms of a voice line you did, or just a particular part of the whole experience that you most enjoyed?
Um, well, let's see. I don't know, man. There's so many little one-liners that are good, but one bullet could save the war or one bullet could change the future, or I forget what it is, that sort of stuff. I like all those little, and when you shoot one of the Nazi bad guys, I don't know. Nothing's popping to mind at the top of my head. What's your favorite? Well, I just found an old script. This is there's one where he's taking out all the turrets or whatever they're called. That makes 2. Our flyboys can thank me later. Our flyboys can thank me later, man. Another AA gun. I should knock it out. The main gate's gonna be heavily guarded. I should try and find a way around it. Good thinking, Carl.
Good thinking, Carl.
Yeah. Once I've dealt with the Nazis out there, It should be a quiet place into the castle. We can party. Oh, here's a great line. Carl kills the ground sniper. Better luck next time.
Those are the quips I'm talking about, like the quick little like 1-2 sentence, like, or 2 worded
Yeah,
sentence like right after you kill somebody.
yeah,
It's just hilarious.
yeah. I'll be back. Yeah, another tiger. I hate tigers.
Okay, that was
All
perfect.
right. Have you finished Sniper Elite 5?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was great. I loved it.
How long did that take you?
Several hours.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, that's pretty good, man.
yeah.
Somebody told me it took them over 20 hours.
Ooh. Well, it depends on how fast. I'm reviewing it, so like I play it ahead of time, and I gotta get it done right. So
All right.
yeah. When preparing to voice Carl, were you given any initial direction in regards to the character, just in terms of examples of prep work to prepare for the performance?
When I originally auditioned for Carl, I met with the head of Rebellion, Jason Kingsley, and we just kind of sat there and looked at some lines, and I gave him my take on what I do, and if anything, they've always pulled me back. You know, look, there's somebody on top of that building. A little bit less. Look, somebody up on top of that building. Just quiet all the time, which is great because I mean, so many voiceover jobs. I mean, I do all kinds of stuff, and some kind of crazy, screamy, screamy sort of stuff. Like, and then I've done a bunch of games where they go, "Oh, could we have another 15-second death rattle as you're hanging on the barbed wire fence and someone's shooting you?" And you go, like that, And Alien versus Predator was the best line. Somebody says, "Oh no, this is actually where the alien is reaching down into your throat and pulling your guts out through your esophagus or something like that." And you go like that. And the Carl stuff, he never gets excited. He hardly ever gets excited. Every once in a while, he might yell at somebody, but it's like a medium sort of pitch. I love it, and when we do a couple hours, 3 or 4 hours of sessions, and they go, "Oh, can you do a little bit longer?" And I go, "Yeah, I guess I could do a little bit longer."
Yeah, he is very, very middle tone, very,
Yeah, yeah,
very usually composed and ready to go, I find.
yeah.
So, what's it like to see your voice attached to a game character?
It's hilarious. And for I think Sniper Elite either 2 or 3. One time I got into playing that, and I was sitting there in my boxer shorts, like at 1 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I came downstairs and I'm doing this stuff, and it's like my oldest son he would just skip through all the monologues at the beginning of setting up the thing, but he comes in, I don't know he's there, and the script for it's up there, and I'm going 1943. Blah 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 blah, and I'm saying all this stuff, sitting there in my sitting there, in my boxers, man, playing this game. And he goes, "Dad," he goes, "that's really sad, man." But it's so cool. It's so cool. And I remember too, I did a game called Killzone, and I was a character called Rico, and he talked like this all the time, and it wasn't politically correct, so they kicked me out of Killzone 2. But Killzone 1, I remember, like, you voice the stuff, but you can't see the character. And then when they actually show this guy, he's this big, huge dude, got the biggest guns and stuff like that. And it starts to inflate your ego. A little part of you goes, "Wow, look at me." But then reality comes that ain't you, man. It's just your voice and a character, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I'm blown away, by this aspect of my career that took off. Like I say, I started in music, and then I started doing a little bit of comedy, met some voiceover guys. The first guy I think I met at the Comedy Store in LA a long time ago was the parrot off of Aladdin, this guy named Gilbert Gottfried, who
Oh,
passed away not long ago. And I just heard him say, "Hey, I made $10,000 this morning talking like a parrot." And I thought, "Wow, how'd you do that, man?" And then I started taking some voiceover classes, and then it just all went from there. Because acting is brutal. You walk into a room and there's like 10 other guys in suits look just like you, and you go up in front of these casting agents, and they listen to them, go, yeah, next, sort of a thing. But voiceover stuff is they generally know what you're going to sound like before they even get you in, and you've got a shot, So I'm going to turn my phone off here. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll jump ahead a little bit to get to a more relevant question. You've been attached to a number of games over the years. Has that process of voiceover work changed a lot since you started?
It's like I just did mention there with Sniper Elite, or not Sniper Elite, with Killzone. Now, more and more, um, everything's becoming ethnically specific. Whereas, you might do a Hispanic voice or something like that. It's not like I'm making fun of anybody, man. But they'll say, "Oh no, you can't do that because you're a white Anglo-Saxon, guy. We're going to get an actual Latino," which I think is cool. I think it's cool, But I mean that has changed a lot. I was in another game called TimeSplitters where I was Cortez, and Cortez, time to split. He was like that, and I got that voice kind of a cross between James Brown and there was a DJ named Wolfman Jack. Hat Muzzy Baby, the Wolfman Jack. And I think if there is a new one, I doubt if I'll get the part just because of that. The whole thing where everything is ethnically specific now. But I got no problem with it. I've been lucky, and also the other thing too is that especially with lockdown, everything changed. Everything changed. All the people that were too cool to have their own home studio were scrambling. And I got some great jobs during lockdown because I've always had a home studio. I've never lived when I moved to England, everybody says, "Oh, you better live in London or you won't get any work." And I said, "No, I'm going to live in the Midlands because my first wife was from here, and I moved over. It was more of a family move. I didn't want to raise my kids in Southern California for various reasons, and so I wasn't going to move from LA to another city, and I moved to outside of Birmingham, there's a little place called Droitwich, and there's somebody say, yeah, there hasn't been one drive-by shooting in Droitwich. It was a drive-by shouting in front of the chippy, you call these mushy peas, mate? That's about as heavy as it gets around here, So my whole thing for moving over here it was a family move, not a career move. And then so I've always, as soon as, do you know what ISDN is? ISDN was a digital telephone system, and as soon as that came out, you were able to record anywhere in the world. You could they get a digital signal between you and me. And there's some delay a little bit sometimes. But it changed the whole ballpark. So I've always had a home studio. I had ISDN, and now we record everything down the line, that sort of stuff too. I still go into town sometimes, but everybody that was too cool to have their home studio because they were in London or something like that, or in a big city where they had a lot of studios to pick from, were scrambling. And so now a lot of people have got good setups at home, and the industry's changed that way. You want something done, you can get it done right now. Somebody, you're 5 hours ahead or 5 hours behind or something like that, and the person you want isn't available. You can find somebody else in minutes.
It's just fascinating to hear about that kind of change because you've been in the game for so long.
Yeah.
So I guess this also pivots into another later question I had. So TimeSplitters, anything going on with that? I imagine you just kind of said you haven't been working on anything because they're apparently remastering or doing a new one or something like that.
I did. There was a fan-based thing where they a reboot or something. I should have wrote down what it was, but it's like a fan-based sort of a reboot or something. I did some voices for them not long ago. I think within the last year, and I'm not sure if they made like a little clip of it or something like that. And I also did an interview with somebody. It's all a blur, Jason. It's all a blur, But I'd love to do it again. I'd love to be involved in that. That was a hilarious game, man. I loved it, and I love the fact they really took their time writing the stuff and making a lot of comic moments, and also it was a lot of the time we got to do the voice sessions in ensemble, where we bounce off each other and say, "Oh man, that'd be funnier if I said that," or that'd be funnier if you did that," sort of a thing. As opposed to most of the time, you go in and somebody's already done their lines. You just read what they would have said, then you react to that, which isn't the same, and it takes away the chance to come up with something better right then. And with the people like on the other side of the glass, they'll say, "Yeah, okay, okay, you can change that." So the closest thing I've ever got to that situation is a cartoon that's on Netflix called Robozuna, and my son and I are both in that, and we did that in ensembles before lockdown, and it's what I imagine what it would be like working on The Simpsons or something like that, where you get a chance to see the script, you have your own input and bounce off each other, and it's like improv acting almost.
Hmm. Quite collaborative.
Yeah.
I would imagine that you've grown accustomed to the character of Carl over the years. Do you have interest in further exploring this character down the road?
Sure. Bring it on. Sniper Elite 6. Come on.
Where do you think he would end up in the next one?
I don't know, man. I hope he doesn't get as old as Clint Eastwood did.
You gonna come back for an old man Carl
Yeah.
character at some point?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's the beauty of voiceover stuff is it's not how old you look, it's how old you can sound,
Hmm.
that sort of thing. And I don't know if I haven't really, I haven't put. I'm a little croaky right now because I woke up just about an hour ago, but I haven't really like compared the way I sound in 5 to the way I sounded in 2
Hmm.
or 3 and 4, that sort of thing. There's been a couple of games, or not games, but campaigns that I've been on that went over the years, and I can hear a little bit of difference. But
For the most part, I can still keep my voice up pretty high.
so I'm not talking like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Impressive. What are some other characters and or performances that people might know you from? I know we've gone over a few, but just anything you want to plug in and talk about there.
Well, Witcher was a good series that I did. I was Eskel and Witcher, and he was just kind of another sort of down here sort of a voice. And that was a fun game too, because that had some really good writing in it, and a lot of different little areas. And I remember there was one where we get a horse drunk, so that was probably bad.
All right, perfect. That's all of the questions I had. Lastly, I'd like to leave a spot for you to go over anything I might have missed over the interview, or if you want to plug anything.
Um, yeah, I've got nothing to plug at the moment. I'm playing a gig tonight in Birmingham. Let's see how many people can fly over for that. They wouldn't make it on time. Um, yeah, but thanks for doing what you do. I think it's great that there's this platform for people to be able to see a little bit into the game before they get into it, and then also once they get stuck. Because I remember, like different levels and different places, just being so frustrated and not knowing how to get out, almost to the point where I'd quit playing the game. But now it's like it's almost like you have to not look if you want to figure it out yourself, because the guys like you that are on it and figuring it out right away. But yeah,
Well,
great
thank you
to
for your
meet.
time.
All right.